For now, we're going to make one of these but using this ladder stitch join, which again, if you use 2 colours would look like that, and with 1 colour you can't even see the joins on them, they're just invisible joins. So it's really simple. This is called the butterfly loom, and this size is the medium. You can buy one size smaller. There's a size called the magic, which I also have, and that will appear in later videos. And then there's a bigger one called the large, which is much bigger and great for bags and things. And all of those will appear in videos at some point. I only have 2 sizes at the moment, but I will be buying the other 2 sizes so that you can see them all and have them all compared. So keep an eye out for that video once I've done that. So you just grab your yarn. And this thing is really simple to use. So on the back here, see here, they got this little lever. This is what holds it in place so it doesn't fold in half. Now, what I do is I just wrap the yarn around that screw, which is a little loose, and then you turn it slightly to make it looser or wider for it to slide in, and turn it just to lock that in place so it doesn't move too much. And then you take your thread, your yarn, up and over. So, you'll need scissors and a needle to weave in your ends and cut off the end, but we won't need them for a little while. So you can see I'm using a thick and thin yarn, but you can use any type of yarn, it's fine. Pop that up there. So we've come up over the top here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go straight down, so straight opposite, and then we're just going to carry it around the back there and up through that notch there, and then straight up around the back and through that notch there. And what we're doing, if I just quickly go backwards and forwards on this side a minute, up to the top there. So we've just gone down. You can see on the back here, it's creating these little bands at the back, and you can count them to know how many rounds you've done. Obviously at the moment we've not even done a whole round because we've only got them there, we haven't gone around. But the way you tell if you've done a whole round is every single one of these should be covered, and I will show more of that in a second. So once we've got to this, we're just going to turn it so we're now back at the empty sides again. So I'm going to come back up over there, back down and around. So this is really simple, and obviously you can go much quicker. I'm just going to put my yarn on the floor and it might feed better. You can go much quicker. I'm just going to go a little slower so you can see. Now it looks like we've done a whole round there, doesn't it? But if you turn it over, you can see we still have every other one of these not covered. Only one of these is. That means we've actually only done half a round. So we're going to turn it again. I'm going to go back up over, and we're just going to go over the same space. So you're going to have 2 strands. See, we've got the 2 strands there in every slot, and that's going to actually finish off the round. So I'm going to go around, back up through there, go again. So every section has 2 strands over it. And then if we look at the back now, we are back where we started, and every one has a strand across the back, and that is one whole turn. So you always do the whole turn to give an even coverage across the whole thing. So everywhere you go should have 2 strands across and down. And that's one whole strand, one whole round. And for the chunky weight, if you see here, what we did, you can count the bits at the back. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that tells you we need to go around again so that we can have 4 strands on the back. You see we only have 1, so we're going to keep going until we have 4 on the back. And that will give us 4 total rounds, which might feel like 8 rounds, but it's only 4 rounds. And then we can start doing the ladder stitch join. Okay, so we'll just speed through this because you don't need to see the same thing over and over again, really, do you? Okay, we are back at the beginning and we can count here. Look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 strands, 1, 2, 3, 4, the one next to it, which means we've done full whole rounds. It's time to start tying, so I just give these a little tidy up. It's not necessary really, but I just think it helps with the tying if we give them all a little straight and make sure they're in nice neat little lines. I just think it gives a better look if we've made sure they're all tidied up beforehand. So the link to these butterfly looms is in the description. I will link to the lady's website and I will also link to her Instagram. Now I'm not sure if her Instagram is in much use, but I'll link it anyway just in case she starts using it more. But the website is butterflylooms.co.uk, I think that's right. I've forgotten the green thing over, but it'll be linked in the description and I'll have it right up here the whole time so you'll be able to see it. So they're now in a nice neat thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off, so very gently keep it flat because we don't want it to fold. Just move that and then tie this off. Don't cut your yarn yet unless you're doing a separate colour for the tying. If you're tying it with a second colour like we did here, you'd cut your yarn now, but we're going to keep with the same colour so we don't bother cutting the yarn. We're just going to feed it back around there a minute. Okay, so you want enough yarn to make sure you can sew this whole thing. So I find, just for ease, I just go around. I think it doesn't have to be great, you just want to measure around. And I find 5 times does the job. So you get 5 times the length. I do it this way rather than measuring outer strand, because this way it doesn't matter what size loom you're using, you'll always get the 5 times the amount for the loom. So how many have we done? Have a quick look. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're going to go around one more, or did we do 5 because we've got that one up there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have done 5, I think. Nope, 4. So one more. Okay, and we're back to where we started. So we're just going to snip that, and then we're just going to take that back off because that gives us our strands. Now this seems like a long strand to work with, but if you just go slow, you'll be good. So now we're just back where we tied off. Grab your needle, which this is a yarn needle, so it's got much thicker head. Just thread your wool through. Now I pull it quite far through to start with because that way you don't have to pull around so much. So I've got it to about there, look. And it just means you're not pulling forever while it's on the longest way. So what you're going to do is take your strand and hold it down there. Take your needle and we're going to go in this square here, so one down thing, and we're going to go across diagonally, so we're going to come out here. Make sure you get underneath all of those threads. I scrape the needle gently across the butterfly loom, and that makes sure you get underneath and you don't go through any of the yarn. So we're just going to pull that, and what we're going to want to do is make sure we leave a little loop before we pull it all the way through. We've got this loop here, you see that there, and we're just going to thread this through it so that we're creating a little knot as we do, and then give that a really good pull so it's nice and snug. That's really pulling it in. And now we're going to go from here across here. So every single one of these will have one going that way and one going that way. We're making a little cross. So I tend to hold my thread that way, and then we're automatically going through that loop as we do it. So we're going to go through and under and up through there, and then we're going to pull that through. And can you see, because I put that thread to the side, I'm already through that loop, and so I don't have to thread it through again. So just give it a good pull. And now we've done that one, we're going to move down to this one, because this is what we're doing. We're following this path. We've started here, so we're going to go all the way down this line before moving across. I'm sorry if you can hear that noise, it's the bin men outside. So hold that there and get across. I hold them down here because then it just gives the nice neat edge down there. Don't forget to go through your loop. You can do it at any point in the pulling. I tend to do it at the beginning because otherwise I might forget, because I have a head like a sieve. But there we go. And give it a good strong pull. Let's move the scissors out of the way. So it's nice and secure. Hold it that way and go back the opposite way, remember? So we're going that way and then that way, creating the cross, and we held it there, so we're automatically going through our loop. Give it a good pull, and we're just going to keep repeating that. So hold it down and go across, go through your loop and give it a pull. And you see how I don't have to pull forever because I folded this over. It makes it a much quicker process. So across there, underneath, and we'll do through our loop. And give it a good pull and down again. See, so this is just what we're going to do. Now obviously as we change direction it's going to be slightly different, but the main process is exactly the same. It's just how we work for going through the loop, because we have to make sure we're going through the loop, and if we're going in a different direction it might mean you have to maneuver the yarn slightly different, but it doesn't matter. My table is a little slidey, so the butterfly loom keeps sliding around. I'm sorry about that. I don't actually have a table that's non-slidey. What you want to make sure you're doing is pulling that end through. You don't want it caught. So it's time for me to move my needle in a minute so that it pulls through without getting caught. Get to this one. Again, don't forget to give it a nice good pull, because you want that really nice and snug. Last one for this direction. So before I move on, I'm just going to move my needle down that thread a little more. Okay, so now we've gone down here, we're going to go across one to this point. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, hold it across there, and we're going to go up through just like we did before. So it's the same process we did up here, we're just going across. And make sure you've popped the yarn through the loop. And give it a good pull. Go down. And that, make sure you've gone through your loop, so we're just going to go there like that. And give it a good pull. So we've done this one here now, so now we're going to work our way back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the thread upwards this time, and we're going to go through that loop. And you can see the loop is there now, so make sure you've gone through across again to go down there. So the process is basically the same, we're just working our way up this time instead of down. Just wish it would stop sliding around on us. Normally I'd sit and do this in my lap instead of on a table because they're very lightweight, so you could just pop it on your lap and hold it in the air while you do it. So I'm going to go up. You hold it past, you'll automatically go through that loop again, see? So instead of just holding there, hold it up to that one and you'll go through that loop. And then you're in place to do that. And then across there. So hold it up to there and then we're automatically going to go through that loop. And to the side, and we automatically go through the loop there. Once I've gone across at the top, I will speed up because you'll get the gist because it's just repeating the process. Last one to the top. And give it a good pull. Right, so we've gone all the way down here, we've gone across here, and now we've gone up here. So now we're just going to go across there. So just hold your thread there. Remember, we're going to go down that way. Make sure you've put yourself through your loop. And that's across there. So now all we need to do is repeat this part again. So we're going to go down here, across one, all the way up, across one, and then we'll repeat this part one more time. So down, across, and up to the top. And then we're going to secure off. So what I'm doing is I'm going to speed past this bit because once you've done that, you're just doing that again and then part way again. And then I'll come back and we'll tie off. Okay, so that's the last one tied there. So all we're going to want to do now is just to tie it off more securely and weave your ends down so that this is then fully secure. So all I do is I just pick one of the strands near the top and I go around and I tie a good knot on there, and that's where it's nice and secure. And then all we need to do is just go underneath your crosses. So you want to go in the middle of the yarn, so you're not on the underside, you're coming in through the middle, and you're going to go through the middle of both of these and you're going to just push it through. A little stiff if you've done these tight enough, and that's what you want because you want it to be able to hold this strand in. So we're just going to pull it along. So we've gone through the middle thickness, we haven't gone on the underside, we've gone through the middle about halfway on each knot. So we go through there and then I turn it around through, and we're going to do the same thing but in a different direction. So now we've got it all secured, you've got to see, we've got to take off. We're going to go back to this bit here, the manoeuvres, and we're just going to pull it out of the way and let this fold in half, and then you can literally just pop all of these off. See how they just pop off, take them off, nice and simple. And then I always store mine back open like that so that they stay nice and secure. And there is it. You can just straighten all these out.